Welcome to the Center of Destiny podcast, a sanctuary to amplify visionary perspectives, deepen our shared humanity, and empower the architects of collective destiny. I am your host, Tara Dow. Let's begin. I watched a video tonight of a man who was outside of an ICE detention center for children. You could hear in the video the screams and the cries of these children wailing for help. And that really broke me. It's not that I have not been in touch with what is going on the world stage. It's not that I haven't been doing my own deep inner work in this inner winter time. For those of us in the northern hemisphere, where I am in Peru, it's summer, but my body is still dispositioned that this is winter from living in the United States for so long. It's not that I haven't recognized what's been going on and that I haven't been in my own, alchemical churning. It's just that when you hear children locked in a detention center that really mirrors a concentration camp, and you hear children, innocent children, that are nowhere near an adult thinking, adult capacity, begging and screaming for help, you see through deeper and deeper where we are truly at. And here's the thing, I am no politician, I am no news reporter, but I do know what my purpose is and I do know the medicine that I carry. But before I can even go into that, it would feel really dense to not acknowledge just the amount of pain and impact that we are all feeling on a collective level. For any of us who are sensitive, for any of us who have basic empathy, for any of us who have been traumatized, for any of us who have been marginalized. However it's impacting you, I just deeply bow in compassion to what it means to be a human in these times, to not look away, to not avoid, but to also not be consumed, because that's also where they want us. So it's really walking in paradox, walking in wide capacity that is really going to keep our hearts open, that is going to keep our humanity, that is going to keep us grounded, but that is also going to keep us turned towards the reculturing that is happening. It's so important not to neglect or deny what is unsustainable. It's so important to grieve. It's so important to get angry. Without that, you are probably numbing. Let's be really honest. If this is not impacting you in some way, there are parts of you who have been protecting you from feeling the depth of reality because it can be so much. And so just acknowledging that, acknowledging where we haven't allowed ourselves to feel completely, because it's not easy to feel, but how important it is, because in feeling and of meeting reality where it is, we can then meet closer to life and closer to our humanity, what our role in all of this is. It's a level of attunement. It is reading the room. And so it's incredibly important that we stay tethered to those that are on the front lines, that we pray and sanctify protection and prayer over those who need it the most right now, that we hold a torch, that we hold candlelight for all of those that are showing us these patterns that have been hidden and in the dark, but that have been here for generations and generations. As soon as we got out of right relationship to nature, as soon as the divine feminine was taken out of her place as sacred, as soon as we began to value mind and analysis over heart and empathy, as soon as we began to believe that power over was the only way to experience security or havingness as the ego would make us think. When we began to fall out of grace, really, with our divinity, with the intrinsic web of life, with harmony to nature, with indigenous values, with tradition, with noble laws and noble truths, universal law, cosmic laws of justice and harmony. We really lost the plot, and it shows. It is sad. And at the same time, it is not new, my friends. It's just that right now there is more light descending upon the planet than we have ever seen. We are at the precipice of cosmic and astrological changes. And we are in times of great prophecy. We're in a churning and a turning of cycle. So change is here, and change is inevitable. And with change always comes death, and always comes rebirth. And so really, life is asking us to move with it. Life is asking us to feel with it. Life is asking us to ask ourselves how we play a part in it. And also life is asking for us to take care of ourselves. For the love of God, my friends, in these times, self-care, regulating our nervous systems, doing our own inner work, repairing our own ancestral lines, transmuting the grief, the pain, the patterns and injustices that have lived in our own ancestry, in our own family lines, in our childhoods, transmuting those imprints on a somatic level, beginning to transform and heal and evolve some of these parts of us that adapted to trauma, that have adapted to a world that is sick, that have adapted to survival, that have adapted to an environment that was designed by psychopaths. My God, is it so important to be updating the information in our nervous systems? Because so long as we're not updating the information in our own nervous systems, we perpetuate on a collective level an old, expired operating system that we inherited, that was born from colonization, that was born from fracture and fragmentation, and the resilience of the human spirit, our song, our art, our communities, our friendship, our purpose, our spirituality, our prayers, our mantras, our ancient wisdom, our medicines, all of those practices that are anchoring a degree of sanity and sanctity on the planet right now as it is needed is our greatest contribution. So please, for the love of God, take care of yourself, my friends. Take care of your dharma. Take care of the medicine that you carry. Take care of your dreams and your visions, because this is the time as we near the fire horse on February 17th of 2026. Think about horse energy. When horses were introduced to humanity, it changed everything. It changed time, it changed speed, it changed our ability to connect, our ability to trade, our ability to explore and chart uncharted worlds. Horse gave us our evolution. It was one of the first allies of human civilization. And we are entering a fire horse year after 2 years of wood element, dragon and snake, that was designed to annihilate and bring to completion that which is unsustainable, that which cannot be carried forward in where we are going, that which can no longer be ignored with short-term thinking, but that we've got to look at. Do you know how many people I'm witnessing ending long-term relationships, including myself? Do you know how many people I'm witnessing close aspects of their purpose, their business that have been so true for so long? And how many things that we're seeing on the political climate that is so disturbing and shows us how far we've really lost a sense of sanity in our leadership on a political level, and also in our values as a humanity. It is no measure of health to be well adjusted to a sick society. Krishnamurti. So really, we're calling upon times of paradox and capacity, really, to not ignore what is happening, but to also understand your role in the web of life, in the turning of culture right now, because how we live right now is going to impact generations to come. And just as ancestors before us were resilient, just as ancestors endured and survived and transmuted and made life for you possible in the way that it is now, we are being asked to do the same as future ancestors. But it is so easy, my friends, when we are seeing and hearing what is disturbing. It is so easy to be frozen. It is so easy to feel helpless. I have so much compassion for the part of me that feels helpless sometimes at the level of atrocity. And at the same time, I do have worlds that I've created that are sane, that are true, that are based in purity and love. And I witness that in my closest friendships. I witness that when I'm at home in the sanctity of my own company. I witness that when I'm on calls with clients, when I'm leading and guiding other people to stand fully in who they've come to be, with the relationships that they're here to have, and with the level of impact that they're here to serve. And in that way, I know that there are worlds upon worlds, that there are dimensions within dimensions, that we cannot let one field that is based in fear, that is based in colonization, that is based in a sickness of mind and a lack of humanity, overcome a greater awareness that we all have and a greater capacity that we all have to build worlds that will cease to allow worlds like these from the past to sustain. There are some of us that are being trained right now, some of us finding our voices, some of us taking a stand in our leadership. There are some of us on the inside, those on the inside of politics, those of us at leading edge of science, those of us leading edge of innovation, those of us building businesses and companies, impacting nervous systems, impacting lineages. Everyone is contributing to this reculturing, to this new timeline. And it's so important that we stay the course. It is so important that we do not turn a blind eye and that we feel the depth of the impact in our hearts, and that we grieve together, and that we grieve together for those that are hurting the most. And at the same time, I would say double down on that business, double down on your work with your nervous system, double down on your work with your attachment system, double down on your generational and ancestral healing, double down on your art, double down on your poetry, on your song, on your dance, on your relaxation, double down on enjoying the rain, double down on enjoying the sunshine. Really, the act of resistance and act of resilience right now is not allowing them to do to our nervous systems what they would want to do. Because people who feel stuck and frozen and afraid or helpless always stay smaller than the full power and the full potential that they really are. That's the psyop. That's the psychological warfare. They would love for you to believe that we are weak. They would love for us to believe that we can't do anything. They would love for us to stay mad at each other, at war with each other. Oh my gosh. And those tactics, please, it's so cosmically kindergarten. Like, really, I just want to take a moment, like, come on, this level of density on a God level, we should be ashamed of ourselves. Come on. The things that some of us humans are doing and perpetuating onto another, this is where healthy shame needs to actually be implemented. Wow, we have really, really lost the plot. And it's okay to get mad at that. It's okay to call out injustice. It is okay to call out bullshit that people are perpetuating and that are actually hurting others. It's one thing to bullshit yourself. It's another thing to be so addicted to eating bullshit that you end up poisoning other people around you. That's when it's too much. That's the breaking point. So yeah, friends, in these times, double down on your gift. Really. It's what we're given. It's what we have. It's what we're here to contribute. And I swear, vibrationally, the war to end all wars is vibrational. When there is enough collective mass consciousness, critical mass of awakening on a consciousness level, meaning we begin to, as a humanity, empathize and come into interconnectedness, come into union, into harmony. When that is stronger on a collective level, when love is stronger on a collective level than hate, separation, and unjust use of power, when those things, when hate, when injustice, when abuse of power, when abuse, when racism, when patriarchy, when the colonial sickness, colonial mind trap, yeah, guys, I swear to God, it's the artists, it's the healers, it's the medicine people, it's the farmers, the permaculture folks, it's the writers, the singers, the poets, it's the conscious entrepreneurs, the facilitators, the speakers, the thought leaders. It's those of us who are choosing to heal ourselves, that are choosing to change the world by changing ourselves and contributing to the communities that we can right now, that are going to keep building in strength, building nervous system capacity, building earned wisdom, and building solutions for these. I really believe that there is an inevitability to all of this, that there is a prophecy of repair and healing, because I believe that just like the body has a natural ability to move towards coherence and healing, so do we as a humanity, so does human consciousness. Like nature, like stages of development in manhood, in womanhood, we are growth oriented beings. And even though there are some bad cells in this collective microorganism or this collective body, even though there are some bad cells, what happens when there are bad cells? The good cells come and rush to help. And so really, it is the darkness that actually gives light its purpose. And it is light that helps darkness remember what is possible. So there is a yin and yang quality and a duality that informs the law of this dimension. Friction and tension and polarity and push and pull between opposites. Duality really, really informs this place. Paradoxically, all at once, you can have some of the greatest tragedy before your eyes, some of the sickest behavior. And at the same time, you can have some of the gentlest, kindest, otherworldly, innovative, and healing, generative solutions, and coming together, raising of consciousness, healings happening every moment, physically, emotionally, ancestrally, somatically, for so many of us. They would have you believe that all of us are suffering. But that story doesn't serve. We've got to look at the ways that some of us are so resilient that even in times of darkness, we overthrow by maintaining our joy. We revolt by unplugging from the systems that oppress us, by finding ways of sovereignty, by getting out of survival and no longer being manipulated or guided or led by survival adaptations, by fear. Those of us that are freeing ourselves are really setting a new template for what is possible. And it's really, really important that we understand that that is equally as important as being on the front lines, as protesting, just in the same way that protesting and being on the front lines is just as important as those that are more so creating worlds after the breakdown of society. Those of us that are going to have the healing balms, the healing solutions, the tools, the parts work, the trauma resolution, the transgenerational healing, the ceremony, the grief circles, the sisterhood circles, the brotherhood circles, all of us that are doing this type of work in integrity, in a real way, in service to something greater than ourselves, in service to all sentient beings, I would say never be never be convinced that this work is small when it's actually what is needed to create a new world of possibility. And that's what so many of us are doing. Yeah. And if I'm being really honest, like this episode is really a way for me to name and speak to so much that I've been digesting on a personal level. I've been real quiet on here, and it's a reflection of the immensity of alchemy that I've been doing in my own lineage, of my own nervous system, my own life, my business, everything. I am preparing some really, really big and impactful projects right now that are not fully ready to be shared publicly yet. But just because I've been quiet doesn't mean that there is not so much being worked in the background. And when it's the right time to keep sharing more and more of what these projects are and the level of reach that they're designed to have, I cannot wait to share it. But until then, I felt a little bit weird, honestly, posting regularly scheduled programming when we're not in regularly scheduled programming in life at all. Like, it's really weird and offbeat for me to, even though, it's so paradoxical, because the truth is there's so much that I want to speak to that I believe is ready to be shared publicly, that is actually happening in private client sessions, that is happening not, for others to see, but that is ultimately here to serve many different lanes that are so important to the most meaningful parts of our human journey, like supporting people in conscious union, in conscious dating, and ultimately becoming the healed ancestors in relationship, because healthy individuals equals healthy couples, equals healthy parents, equals healthy communities, healthy children and families and lineage, community, planet. And it starts from within. That entire interconnected circular interconnected web, it's important to tend to. And so whether it's that work that I'm doing with people, or it's the legacy work where I'm helping public figures, emergent thought leaders, shamanic practitioners, priestesses, people with a message, people with medicine and gifts and brands and companies and offerings in these times scale and have a bigger reach when it's coming from a genuine place of earth stewardship and planetary guardianship. I want to talk about those things. We could go so deep. It's time that we talk about these things. It's time to bring what has been in client sessions into a more public facing platform. But I could not do that in good grace without first naming the big elephant in the room, which is there is some shit happening on the planet right now that we are seeing either with our own eyes or on our phone screens that is absolutely not okay. And I need to stand by that. And before you see me talking about these other things that I'm so passionate in talking about that are equally as real, that have everything to do with providing solutions so that we can get ourselves out of these unsustainable toxic cycles of emotional immaturity on a human level, and really upgrade our nervous systems and really come into eldership around our impact for how to create a new world. Before I can get to that, and it won't be the last time that I speak to this, I've got to name just how heartbroken I am from what I'm seeing. And when I post about my business or my offerings or my celebrations or this beautiful life that I've created for myself, of these regulated moments that I experience a lot in my daily life through practice, through devotion, through meeting and moving through my emotions and fully accepting my humanity, that when I share goodness and when I share celebration and when I make offerings, that I need you to know that it is not missed on me what a privilege that is in these times. What a privilege it is to be safe. And as a woman of color who immigrated to the United States through legal processes because my mom became a US citizen and I was a US citizen under her. And even with that being said, I still have parts of me that are afraid Because what they're doing is racially profiling people. What they're doing is illuminating the racist, colonial tendencies of the human shadow. And I am afraid of that. I would pray that that is not a part of my destiny, but the very fact that I have to live with degrees of fear of that, I can't even imagine what others are going through. I'm here on a mountaintop. Like, I'm here so far removed from the matrix. And if I feel that here, I can only imagine what people are feeling in the climate of the United States. So I have so much compassion. What people are feeling in Iran, what people are feeling in Sudan, in Yemen, what people are feeling in Palestine, all around the world. We are seeing a sickness reveal itself. What we can't look at, we can't change. And so in some way, I believe there is a divine orchestration, a divine self-organizing principle of life that, as heartbreaking and tragic as it is leading us to an evolutionary timeline, is leading us to a great reculturing, is leading us towards innovation and magic, and you are a part of that. If you're listening, I fucking know you're a part of that. We are a part of that. It's time to really gear up. It's time to really take care of our systems, to build resilience and capacity for these times, to maintain connected to the real, to stay grounded in our humanity, to not try to ascend or transcend where we're actually at, while also being able to hold the invisible, while also being able to architect the invisible, while also being able to build these solutions and new ways of being, new gathering points, new resources, new trainings, new sharings, new teachings, and new art that is going to give this world the hope that it deeply needs and that it deeply deserves, and that is our birthright. And it has always been the artists. It has always been the healers, always been the medicine people, always been the therapists, the mothers, the fathers. It's always been those of us who can bear what is tragic and painful with an open heart, with kindness and compassion, and to do with what we've been given, which is this life and this time, do what we can to leave this place better than we found it, do what we can to benefit all sentient beings, do what we can to benefit our lineages, and trust that that is enough. Trust that not one of us is responsible for saving the world, but many of us who believe that doing right by ourselves and those closest to us, doing right by offering and sharing what God has given you as your gift and your design, trusting that that is ultimately what land and nature and creation and those who need it the most would want, is the only way forward to build and architect anew. And that is what I call living from the center of your destiny, understanding that from the center, all is possible. When you're out of center, when you are dysregulated, disorganized, when you are disconnected, you're not connected to destiny. You're connected to some sort of survival template or some sort of survival response, or you're living on someone else's timeline or living on someone else's path, some form of inheritance that wasn't yours. But to live in the center of your destiny is to be a sovereign creator of possibility, is to know who you are, is to know your power as a son or a daughter or a being of God, and to walk in this world respectfully and dignified as such, and to heal the past by coming into the present and ultimately liberating the future. To live from your center of destiny is to walk in life as a whole integrated being, to walk coherently, to do as you say and to say as you do, to bring your spirituality and your divinity and make it practical and embodied, to walk really as the sovereign creator that is connected to all realms of possibility, should they be brave and courageous enough to take the next step. Thank you so much for being here, my friends. Thank you for continuously feeding the field of Center of Destiny. It's my honor to continue to build this podcast. And if you are enjoying this podcast, rate and share with your community. I love you all.